Welcome back to the Inside Track on Real Estate. Now I'm excited today because I've got my son with me today, Ryan Dekker, and we're going to be talking about making money with real estate. One of Ryan's favorite topics.
Absolutely.
And so we're going to blow some myths out of the water maybe. We're going to talk about some pros and cons on some things. We're going to give some examples of properties that people could actually build wealth with. We're very excited about this.
We'll probably open some new options up to people that they've never even thought about.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited. You excited?
I'm excited. Let's get rolling.
All right. So let's talk about building wealth in real estate. One of the things that I've heard a lot about is the flipping houses.
Yeah.
You know, you fix it up, buy it in rough shape, fix it up, and flip it. Now, whenever I flip the house, I usually hurt my back.
Yeah.
Because they're very, very heavy. And
I haven't heard that one before.
Of course not. It's a dad joke. Okay, so Ryan, tell me some of the pros about.
Well, the nice thing about flipping a house is, you know, it's a pretty quick return. You get in, you get out, you know what you've made.
Or lost.
Or lost, I guess, yeah, that's possible. And so that would be one of the pros. And it's also something you can tangibly feel. You can feel you adding the value. So it's something a lot of people can easily visualize doing.
Okay, so actually when I renovate a property, I get that real sense of enjoyment of leaving something in a way better condition than I found it in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So money's not the object, just fixing everything as it is. Okay, so there's that part of it.
Yes.
The hands-on. Now, some people that flip houses don't actually do the work.
Yes, there are a few people who, you know, decide, okay, this is the house, I found the project, now I'm going to hire the contractor to do it, and, you know, and then I'll sell it and hopefully make some money.
Now, is that easier to make money or harder to make money doing that?
Much harder. Much harder.
Okay, so most fix and flips are done by someone who's very handy or contractor.
In Ottawa, absolutely.
In Ottawa, yes.
They're really buying themselves a job. You know, if seasons are slow, or maybe you just enjoy, you know, being your own boss and not having to work for other people. You can go find a house, fix it, and you've really just bought yourself a job for the next, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it takes.
If it takes 6 months, are you going to make money on that house?
Depends on how big it is.
How big or pig?
Big.
Oh, big. I thought you said pig. I noticed we got a little pig behind us today.
We sure do.
And so it's a piggy bank, by the way. It's not a live pig for those on the radio.
Should have let them guess.
So if it's quite big, it might take a lot longer to
Absolutely. If
renovate.
it's multiple units or maybe an apartment building.
So what's one of the secrets with making money on a buy and flip?
In Ottawa?
Yes.
You got to buy it right. If you don't buy it for the right price, you're going to lose money regardless of how...
Okay, so you got to make money when you buy it, not when you sell it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So the book I read on buy and flip said you make your money on the buy end because you have to price it at a point that it's going to sell quickly on the back end.
Absolutely.
So you got to actually sell it at a discount at market or below
to get it gone
quickly because every month it sits there vacant.
Your holding costs are going to eat
costs
you
are
alive.
expensive.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. All right, what else? What else about flip? What do they need to know? If someone's out there in Radio Land saying, "Hey, I think I'd be good to buy and flip houses," what do they need to know?
If you're doing a big job, one where you're going to make a lot of money on it, you've really got to know what you're doing. I've seen people, they don't understand that buying a flip is like getting into a marriage.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't see it till the end, it'll take half of what you own.
Oh,
pretty
nice
good,
one. That's good.
I like it. I've seen people, they bought one, deciding, me and my family will do this. It'll be a lot of fun. And they get started and realize what's involved. And then they have to leave it halfway through. It's empty, it's vacant, it's not rentable, it's half destroyed.
It's half
bad.
destroyed.
It's bad.
It's not all put back
and
together.
so they lose money, they have a bad experience with it. So it's something you really got to be committed to move forward in.
So don't take this lightly.
Don't take it lightly. This is not a hobby. I mean, it is if you're very experienced in the trade.
Okay.
If, you're retired, and then maybe it's a hobby.
Right.
But it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Okay. So I've seen houses where you go in and the kitchen's been ripped out. There's no kitchen left. The bathroom's been taken out, and there's one toilet reinstalled, and the ceramic's halfway done, and there's material sitting on the job site, and you're trying to sell a house like that. It's really, really tough. It sells at a big discount. That would be a good one to buy for.
That would be a good one to buy. Yeah, absolutely.
They've already done the demo.
That's my favorite part, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can get to take your anger issues out on stuff.
Absolutely. A little bit of exercise.
Okay, so other pros or cons with flipping?
Well, I'll hit on some of the cons. Especially in Ottawa, the market's pretty stable. And so often a lot of your income will be eaten up by the lawyer fees, land transfer tax, realtor fees on the selling side, and it makes it very hard to make money on a flip.
Okay, so the issue is, I think if I'm hearing you right, it's that you can't buy it cheap enough.
Correct.
Because there's enough demand out there that the dog houses, so to speak, I've seen some nice dog houses, but the houses that are in really poor condition, there's still enough demand from people that want to do this that they sell at a reasonable or unreasonable price for the flipper. Yeah,
and the people who are making good money in the flips are the ones who are going after the home that's been a hoarder house for the last 20 years. It smells like pee. You can't even go in there without a mask on. They got to rip out the drywall, the subfloor. The roof is gone, not just the shingles, but the actual wood. And so they're putting, $100,000+ into this house and getting a brand new house, and they're basically just leaving the structure of it.
And where are they buying these?
In town.
Yeah, so location, right? If you're going to do a buy and flip, you've got to be in an up-and-coming area where there's a huge demand for those properties. Because even though we're in a slower market right now where I would call it a buyer's market because there's so much inventory, there's still pockets around the city that you put a house up and it's going to sell quickly because that particular area, like Westboro or Glebe, whatever, is still in high demand.
Yep. And these houses are, there's not one on every street. Like they're pretty far and in between.
So they're hard to find.
They're hard to find, and normally they've been there for so long that it's only when they're finally ready to move out, or they realize that this isn't healthy for them anymore. And it's time to move on. So it's
right. Or sometimes you got to wait for a property to go down in value enough that makes it reasonable, where the seller's been tired of trying to sell it because it's in poor condition and the price just starts dropping. So you got to really watch the market. So if this is something that one of our listeners is thinking they might want to do, what's the process for them to find a property like this?
Couple ways. One is give us a call and we'll figure out what you're looking for and see if we have something already, or if there's something we'll keep our eye out for. That's one way.
So people don't just call us and we keep our eye out for stuff,
No.
It's a little more work than that?
It's a lot more work than that. Okay. You come in, we establish a relationship that will be working for you, and we get paid when we help you buy something. So it's all our upfront costs and our upfront knowledge. It's free until you get something, and that would be...
Okay, so we're looking for a commitment from the buyers. So you come in and sign an agreement that we're going to represent them. Doesn't mean they have to buy a property, but it says if you do buy a property, you'll buy it through us.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, very good. Okay, so if fix and flip is really a cash flow kind of thing, it's buying a job, maybe you make more per hour doing this work than you would somewhere else, or less. It's a gamble.
Yeah, a little more.
You got to really know what you're doing. So that's a cash flow strategy, because it's not really a wealth building strategy. It's designed to create an income, and a taxable income, by the way, because when you buy it and you flip it, and if you make an income, then the government's going to tax you on that. Okay, so what's a better, or what's not necessarily better, but what's a different way of doing the same kind of thing but building wealth?
So the other way is actually a fix and hold. So we're doing the same thing. We're finding a rougher house. We're changing out the floors. We're changing the paint. We're maybe doing the kitchen, a bathroom, finishing the basement. it can be a little more broad.
Okay, so we're still buying a house that needs work.
Absolutely.
We're looking for that one that they haven't done the kitchen in 50 years, and the bathrooms are still blue or pink, or there's rot around the toilet
blue
or whatever.
Or the
Smurf blue, yeah.
Yeah.
Olive green appliances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, or maybe need some windows, or the shingles are bad, or that kind of thing. And so what's the advantage of fixing and then holding?
Well, you're getting that increase right off the bat. So you're getting a cheaper home that maybe you couldn't find, so you're buying it $50,000 less than, another home, or $30,000, whatever it is. And so you're getting that, you're going to fix it, and you're getting that increase today. But it's going to be compounded until you sell it.
Okay.
So that's one part. Second is you don't pay any tax on it until you sell it.
Right.
Right? And you've got a tenant in there who's going to be they're paying down your mortgage. They're going to be giving you maybe some cash flow on this one because you bought it at such a discount. And the other option is some people I've seen, they buy it, fix it, and then remortgage it right away. And they get basically the same cash they put in to go get another house.
Okay, so they're getting their equity back out. Because when you're not selling it, of course, you don't have legal fees and
lawyer fees and
agent
land transfer
fees.
tax.
Well, land transfer tax you're going to get on the buy
that.
end. The seller's got to, or the new buyer's got to pay land transfer tax again. So it all affects pricing. Yeah. So buy and hold's a really great strategy for getting into something, maybe getting your equity back out so that you can go buy another one, and then renting it, getting cash flow, or at least breaking even, so that you're getting equity growth.
Over time, yeah.
Both two ways, right? Two ways to get equity growth is the mortgage pay down, who the tenant's paying, and your just market growth. Ottawa's averaging around 5.5% or so on average. Not in the last year, but
over the span of 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, 10, 20, 30 years. We're right around that between 5 and 6% on average. So very stable market. Yeah. Okay. So what other ways are there to make great money in real estate?
Well, long-term or short-term? Because we can go back to let's go back to the flip. So one thing we didn't talk about is there's other kinds of flips. So we were kind of mentioning, you could go after an apartment building, which is a lot of work to, fix up the units and get out the tenants. And, that'll take you a couple of years to do.
Right.
You've done one of those recently.
Yeah, and the difference with that compared to a single-family home is how the valuation is done. So a single-family home is going to be done, what can I buy another unit like that for? Whereas a multi-unit home or building, whether it's got 5 or 6 or 10 apartments in it or whatever, if you can improve that so it makes more money, it's a factor, right? It's a cap rate factor, will then tell you what the value of the property is. So you can find a property that needs, the tenants are paying too little, they're not, it's poorly managed, they're not paying on time, or they're behind in payments, they're damaging it, whatever, and you can, with proper management, kick those people out, improve your units slightly, get better tenants in, get the cash flow of the building up, and suddenly you've improved it significantly because it's a multiplier, right? So that's a great way to build.
Yeah. And I mean, another way is if you've got 12 toilets that are, flushing twice as much, and you're the one, because you're the landlord for a multi-unit, maybe paying the water and sewer, you can decrease the usage, and all of a sudden your expense goes down.
You change the toilets, and probably those toilets are old, and they're going to be leaking.
Yep.
So you've got water that's just being wasted, and by switching to a low flush toilet, which is not real expensive to put in, not expensive to purchase, you can really get your expenses down. So things like that. Cool.
And the lower your expenses equals, let's say you buy a place and you're not able to change the rents, they stay the same, and you're able to get your expenses down, your net income goes up, which increases the value of the place.
Significantly, because it's all based on net income.
Absolutely.
Great. And then applying your normal rent increases, because some landlords haven't done it, they haven't been increasing the rent, and then that's affecting their value of the property. Cool. So if you're just joining us, it's the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Dekker Team. And I'm Ken Dekker, and I'm talking with Ryan Dekker today. And we're talking about building wealth and building cash flow and making money in real estate, really, is what we're talking about. One of the areas that we're both very passionate about. And so what other ways can you find a property that you could buy and flip? Now, these are not easy to find, right?
They're not easy to find. They're far and few between. However, they are out there.
So if someone's interested, they really have to have a commitment with us, because there's only a few. And when we find one, it's only offered to the people we're in exclusive working relationship with, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
So another one we do is semi-detached severed into a duplex. Or sorry, a duplex severed into a semi. I had it backwards there. And so some people are like, well, what's the difference between a semi and a duplex? Well, it's the same building, but a semi, each side is under different ownership. And where a duplex is under the same ownership. So if you can get the duplex into a semi, then you can make a fair chunk of change on that.
Okay, so that would require actually severing it, making sure that it has 2 sewer hookups, 2 water hookups. So you got to do some work with the city and make sure that they're okay with it and get it surveyed and all done properly.
You got to make sure the zoning matches it to begin with,
or that they'll allow it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. But there are some of those out there, and sometimes actually there's an opportunity for your fix and flip as well. So you're combining the fact that you've divided it, it's in a very popular area. Now you renovate it so it's a beautiful semi-detached home, and you're getting a significant uplift on the price.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a great way. What else?
What's the other one? Adding units. So back to you've done this recently. You bought a 9-unit residential and it had 3 or 4 commercial, and you were able to convert the 1 commercial that wasn't renting to 3 more residential units.
Right. The back commercial unit was on kind of an alley, and really you could get very low rent for it because it didn't have street exposure, and it was over 2,000 square feet. And the city allowed a conversion from commercial to residential if it's not on the main road. So we're converting that it's actually in construction right now, that it's about 2,200 square feet, converting it to 3 apartments. They're on the ground floor, so we're making them accessible. We're making wider doors, putting pole handles by the toilets and the baths and that sort of thing. So people because it's right at the ground, there's no step even to get into the unit. Great for people with handicaps and mobility issues, and that way, they're very rentable, and also very stable tenant, because typically when somebody in that situation that has a mobility disability, and they find the right place, they're going to stay put for quite a while because they like where they live.
And they don't want to move, and it's easy.
And these will be brand new apartments, so new flooring, new walls, new electrical,
new kitchens, new bathrooms, everything.
Everything's beautiful. So that is bringing up the value of the property significantly. Yeah. Okay. Good.
All right. And you could do with that one, you could fix and flip, or you could fix and hold. And we know that, tax advantage wise, you're way better off if you don't need the cash to hold it.
Yeah, it depends on your strategy, right?
And what other things you got going on.
One-on-one discussions around your goals, your financial situation will help us decide, as a team, what's the best scenario for you. Now, interesting, that exact same property, because we like to talk about maybe land dividing or land severing off a lot. If you can find a property that you can keep it and sever something off and sell that lot, usually that's a pretty quick
return
upside.
Yep. And
this same property, actually, I severed off an acre and a bit lot off the back, and they're building, I think it's a 7-story apartment building on this lot, and I made it, the lot was about half what I paid for the building I got back. So
to do the renos.
They're expensive. The renovations, yes. So interesting building, and whether I made some mistakes on that one or not, probably, but it's a great learning experience, and hey, we plan on making money over the long haul on that, because that's a buy and hold kind of thing. There's also, some of us are working with people who want to tear down whatever's there. So again, in a very, very popular area where the infill homes are going in, the infill homes are 800 million, $1.2 million, and they're buying houses that are 350, 400 and just tearing them down or moving them away, because what they want is a large lot. Because to find a lot with 60, 80, 100 foot width is really tough, especially in new areas. You just can't get them. You know, they're doing houses on 35 foot lots, 45 foot lots. So if you want to build a big house in a nice neighborhood, great thing to do is go in, take down something that's small, been poorly maintained, the value's down, and you're basically buying at land value. Yeah. I think I did all the talking. I'm supposed to be the interview.
No, this is good.
Okay, so let me talk about a property, actually, that we have coming up on the market. It's not listed yet, so I won't give a lot of details. Just know that it's one of those ones that's going to be available probably to divide some land off of it.
Well, this one's very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So you're going to need to call us. It'll be listed for sale once this show
comes out.
airs. This show will air in a little while. And it has the ability, it's acreage, has a beautiful home on it with an in-ground pool, a great place to live, and you could sever off probably, it's got some mineral extraction, it's got some rural land, some different zonings on the same parcel of land. So may be able to sever some things off. The city's becoming a little more willing to talk about that sort of thing since they put a moratorium on all future development outside of villages or the city. So they do not want urban sprawl where people were taking a 50 or 100 acre parcel that wasn't good for farmland, but dividing it into lots, 1 acre, 2 acre country estate lots. The city has said we will not do any more of those. So as a token, they're allowing some severances on these type of properties. So
you can't build a subdivision, but you can get a couple lots.
Take off a couple lots. So that's something that's in the works, and we'd have to be with the buyer, working with the city in conjunction, and see what can happen with that. So that's not going to be a cheap property because it's a beautiful bungalow, but it's quite an interesting one. So someone with a little bit of extra money they don't know what to do with, that want to have very some cool fun investment and maybe make some money. This could be one of them. So call us 613-860-4663 and talk to Ryan or Ken about that possibility.
Yeah.
Now we've got another one.
Yeah. So this one's a little different.
Okay.
The last one we talked about was, expensive, lots of work, but, some pretty big money to be made. This one we're talking about now.
Work as in administrative work with the city, not
absolutely.
Not work.
Not physical work, but definitely lots of work. Work nonetheless. This one we're talking about is a lot less expensive.
Okay.
It's $200,000.
That's cheap.
That's cheap.
Yeah.
And there's no work to be done. It's done. Okay. All you need to do is buy it, rent it, and watch it grow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's all renovated, it's all done?
Yeah, beautiful new kitchen. It's a little condo, 3 bedrooms. It's not a condo apartment. It's a condo row unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a garden home?
Yeah, a garden home,
so
exactly.
It doesn't have a garage or a laneway, but it's kind of common parking. You have your spot.
Yep.
And it's a 3 bedroom.
And it cash flows.
Cash flows.
What is
cash flow for those that
what
maybe
is cash
don't
flow?
know what that is?
Cash flow is a lovely thing. That's where you're actually getting money every month from your tenant. So they're paying the mortgage, the expenses, and your taxes, your insurance, your condo fee, and there's still a little bit of money left over.
How much on this one, roughly?
This one is going to be about $170 a month.
170 a month. So how much money would I have to put down? How much money would I need to buy a property like this and rent it out?
So you could do it at 20, but most of the time the banks are with 25% now.
Okay.
And so you'd need about $50,000.
Okay, so for $50,000, I can buy this property, which means I'll have about $150,000 mortgage and some closing costs, right?
Absolutely.
I have to pay the closing costs as well. So, so maybe $53,000 I might need. Okay. And then, so that it's going to rent at maybe, what?
About 1,300.
1,300. And when I rent it at 1,300, which is not bad for a 3-bedroom.
That's beautiful.
Right? I'm going to be able to pay because this is a condo, I'm going to be able to pay the condo fee, which means I don't have to worry about exterior maintenance and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be able to pay the insurance, the taxes, and the mortgage, and I'm going to have $170 left.
Absolutely. If you self-manage.
If I self-manage. Okay. So, and it's fully renovated, so I don't have to do a lot of stuff to it.
And even if you got a manager on this one, you'd still be cash flowing.
Okay, but let me just see. So I get $53,000 and make $170 a month. Big deal.
Yeah. Or $2,000 a year, if you want to.
Big deal. That's not very much.
No, you don't like that. What is that, like 2%?
2%.
2%.
Okay, so how else am I going to make money?
So how else are you going to make
money that way?
No, you're not. But when your mortgage is being paid down, you also had principal pay down.
Okay, so how much is the mortgage payment?
Your mortgage payment is $8,000 for the year, or $700 a month.
Okay, so how much would be paid down? $300, $350, something like that?
$336 a month, or $4,000 for the year.
Right at the beginning. So $4,000 plus add that to my other.
Mm-hmm. So you're at $6,000.
Okay. So $6,000 on
$50,000.
On $50,000. On $53,000.
Yep.
So what interest rate is that?
Oh, just over 10.
That's over 10. Okay, now I'm getting more interested.
Now you're getting more interested. Okay. Awesome.
Good.
And then if we go with our yearly property increase of 5%.
Okay. So but right now they're not really going
Right
up.
now they're not, but this is a buy and hold.
Okay.
So
we're going to average 5%.
Yeah, on average.
Okay. So 5% on 200, that's $10,000.
That's it.
Okay, so that's another 20%.
That's another 20%.
On my 53,000.
So you're making 30% for the first year.
I like it.
I like it too. I like it too.
So if you've got $53,000 and you'd like to make 30%,
roughly, approximately, we'll see.
Not guaranteed, because we can only go by what the past has had, not what the future will hold. Then give us a call, 613-860-4663. We love talking about building wealth through real estate. Give us a call. Send us an email if you've got a question at dekkerteam@chri.ca. And once again, call one of the Dekker team if you've got any questions about buying, selling, or investing. 613-860-4663.
Have
Have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye for now.